What's going on, everybody? Crazy Dog back for another video, and this will be my final Browns mock draft of the year. Of course, the 2018 NFL Draft goes down tomorrow night at 8 o'clock p.m. in Dallas, Texas at AT&T Stadium. This is actually the first ever NFL Draft held at an NFL stadium, so should be a good one. You know, I expect a lot of trades, a lot of chaos. I mean, come on, who doesn't love chaos? You know, who doesn't love chaos? I mean, that's the best part about the draft, you know? I mean, when teams are moving up and down, you know, that makes it fun. But anyways, let's get on with this final Browns mock draft of the year. Try and get this thing over with. And then, of course, tomorrow I'll have my first and only full first-round mock draft. And then I got my Q&A answers video, and then my draft reactions. Those are going to be awesome, I hope, if the Browns make some good moves. But again, you know, we'll see. We'll see what John Dorsey's got in store. Should be fun. But anyways, let's get on with this mock draft. Of course, to go over our picks, the Browns have 2 first-rounders, 3 second-rounders, no thirds, 1 fourth, 1 fifth, and 2 sixth-rounders. That's a pretty good amount of picks. You know, we're not bringing in a small army, but then again, you know, it's not like we're bringing in 1 or 2 players. You know, I mean, it's a pretty good amount of picks. You know, so anyways, with the first overall pick, thanks to an 0-16 season, the Cleveland Browns select Sam Darnold, quarterback out of USC. I really started to like Sam Darnold, especially after his pro day. He went out there in the pouring rain and balled out, looked good, and honestly, I fell in love with him after his pro day. Now, would I be mad if we took Baker or Rosen or Josh Allen? No. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Josh Allen, but I mean, I wouldn't be mad. I mean, he's good. You know, he's got a good upside. I mean, he's got one hell of an arm. And he's used to playing in, you know, unpredictable weather over there in Wyoming. You know, I mean, of course, over here in Ohio, our weather changes by the hour, so that should be fun, watching him in the snow 1 minute and then in the rain the next minute, you know. But, I mean, I wouldn't be mad with any of the guys, except for maybe Lamar Jackson at 1. You know, I think that would be way too high for him, but you never know these days. But anyways, yeah, I got Sam Darnold going number 1 to my Cleveland Browns. Now, 3 picks later, we're back up again at number 4. And here I got the Browns going Bradley Chubb, defensive end out of NC State. Now, I would love to have Saquon Barkley here, but with this pick, I assume that the Giants take Barkley and we pounce on Bradley Chubb and put him next to Myles Garrett. And then we have 2 of the best pass rushers out of the last 2 draft classes on the same defensive line. That is straight up disgusting, and I love it. And then you put them with Larry Ogunjobi, who's a rising stud from last year's draft, and then, of course, Caleb Brantley, who fell right into our grasp last year. That's awesome. That's one hell of a D-line. And then, of course, you got Greg Williams, who loves to bring everything in the kitchen sink almost every down, so that's going to be fun. So our first round consists of Sam Darnold and Bradley Chubb. That would be awesome, especially if we can't get Saquon Barkley. You know how I feel about him. Now, moving on to the second round, 33rd pick, I have us getting a running back, Sonny Michel, running back out of Georgia. If we can't get Barkley, and let's say Geis is off the board, Sonny Michel is definitely one of my next favorites. He is an absolute tank, hard as hell to bring down, and he'd fit pretty well in our system, you know, with Carlos Hyde and Duke. So I would love to bring him in. And then at 35, I have the Browns selecting Mike Hughes, corner out of UCF. Now, if we bring in Mike Hughes, that most likely means Jamar Taylor's gone, although I think he's gone regardless. I wouldn't actually be surprised if we traded him during the draft, which would be pretty hilarious considering we acquired him in the draft a few years ago from the Dolphins. So that would be something, right? Going full circle. You get acquired in the draft, and then you get traded in the draft. Imagine that, you know? But again, we'll see what happens. Although I think Jamar's gone regardless. Mike Hughes would be one hell of an addition to our secondary, and I would love to have him here. Coming in at 64, I have the Browns selecting Chukwuma Okorafor, tackle out of Western Michigan. With the retirement of Joe Thomas, this is a definite need, although Sean Coleman, I think, will be a nice, fill-in for right now. I think Okorafor can make a case in a few years for taking over that spot. He's way better than Rod Johnson. Of course, Rod Johnson didn't even play in the regular season because he got hurt. But I think Okorafor would be one good option, as a backup behind Sean Coleman at tackle. All right, moving on to the 4th round. At 114, I have the Browns taking Tyquan Lewis, defensive end out of Ohio State. Once again, bolstering that pass rush. We need depth there. I mean, last year we really had no depth. Once Garrett Anagba went out, it was over. We could not generate a pass rush, and that should be one goal in this year's draft, is to solidify the pass rush. Of course, I already have us taking Bradley Chubb to go with Garrett Anagba, and now you put a guy like Tyquan Lewis who can get to the quarterback easily with those guys, and even Nassib as well. That'd be one pretty good pass rush right there. That would be pretty awesome. 5th round, I have the Browns selecting Tigray Scales, linebacker out of Indiana. Again, he's just going to be depth. I mean, we already got our starters set up. Jamie Collins, Joe Schobert, and of course, Christian Kirksey, And possibly even Jabril Peppers here and there. He can fit at linebacker too, but he's going to be seeing a lot of time at the safety, box safety position. Not angel safety. No, he's going to be in the box. He's going to be in the action, and that's going to be fun. Now, of course, Tigray Scales, 5th round, and then 6th round, I have us taking Antonio Callaway, wide receiver out of Florida. Now, of course, I actually heard that he got nailed for a diluted sample at the combine, and I think he actually tested positive for marijuana. Sounds like someone else I know. But, he's a low-risk, high-reward pick. If he messes up, we just simply cut him. No penalty. Bye-bye. See you later. We gave you a chance. But yeah, kind of like what we did with Brantley. Although Brantley later got out of that little case of him apparently beating up a chick. But Antonio Callaway, he's been known to be stupid. So we'll see what happens with that. He's a good pick, but, low risk, high reward right there in the 6th round. And then with the final pick in the draft, I have us selecting Taron Johnson, cornerback out of Weber State. I believe this is the guy that got doinked on the head at the combine with the football during a drill. He's actually pretty good, believe it or not. So, again, he'd be fighting in the cornerback room, and I think he might actually make the team. So there you have it. That's my final Browns mock draft. I'm probably going to be wrong on like 95% of these picks. In fact, I think the only one I might get right is probably the 1st round pick, and I might even get that one wrong. No one knows what Dorsey's going to do, and I love it. So, yeah, it's going to be fun tomorrow night. Of course, I'll have my draft reactions up a little bit after every pick, so keep an eye out for those. But for right now, I'm Crazy Dog 99, and I will see you tomorrow for my 1st round mock draft and my Q&A answers video, and then, of course, later on that night, my draft reactions. So, I'm Crazy Dog 99. Let's go Browns, and I'm out.